Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of our EAFC 25 career mode here with Bayern Munich. We're returning today off the back of what is our worst run of form of the season so far, after we drew 1-1 with Mainz away from home and then followed that up with a 1-0 loss to Real Madrid in the Champions League. We're back today as we will play through the month of December. Some big games coming in the Bundesliga where we've got ground to make up, including a trip to Xabi Alonso's Bayer Leverkusen side. We will also have the third round of the DFB-Pokal, where I would certainly say we are favourites to lift the trophy come the end of the season, with most of the heavy hitters already being knocked out. And we'll also have match day 6 of the Champions League group stage, where again looking to ensure we finish in a top 8 place after the loss to Real Madrid. So lots of big games coming today. Let's dive straight into our first as we take on Werder Bremen at the Allianz Arena. Auf geht's, die Rotten. Yeah, underway here in our first game of the episode, and as you can probably tell, still suffering a little bit with the voice, so apologies once again for that. I'm hoping by the next time I sit down to record, I will be over this. So just a few more episodes to go until I am back to normal, hopefully. But speaking of getting back to normal, Bayern Munich needs to get back to winning ways. Oh, that is terrible. And Sam, he's put it wide on the stretch. Need to get back to winning ways after that draw against Mainz last time out in the Bundesliga and allowing RB Leipzig a 2-point gap at the top of the table. Well, we've got a free kick here. We saw Elise come close. I think it might have been match day 1 against Heidenheim. Elise, it's off the woodwork. And he gets so much whip on those free kicks. Just set it a little bit too far outside of the post. Gets it around the wall, but not enough to bring it inside that post. Keeper wasn't getting there, but Elise denied by the woodwork. Well, second 45 underway, and we've been frustrated so far by Werder Bremen. Had a couple of little half chances. Elise came close with that free kick hitting the frame of the goal, but so far, if we're to drop points here, that would be 2 games in a row where we failed to win in the Bundesliga. And it does allow RB Leipzig the chance to pull even further away. So as good as we've been in the first 11 games in the first sort of third of the season, there's still a long way to go, of course, but we don't want to give Leipzig a lead that they can hold on to. Well, I'm looking to my bench here for an impact. Merlin comes on through the heart. We've got Rojas out wide. Oh no, is he onside? He is. Ronnie on the closeout, can't get there, and Werder Bremen lead, and it's all going wrong for Bayern Munich. We're set for 3 games without a victory, and potentially RB Leipzig moving 5 points clear at the top of the Bundesliga. Marquez is on up top as well, because Bakker was just absolutely gassed. That's brilliant by Marquez. Oh, what a strike! And straight from kickoff, Marquez gets us back on level terms. And it just had too much power for the keeper. Drills it in with the power strike. I don't normally seem to have too much joy with those, but he rifles it in past the keeper, who doesn't really cover himself in glory. It's a great finish. And with 19 to play, we're back on level terms. 10 to play here. Still, we remain deadlocked at 1 apiece. Corner's floated in. Inacio's going to come off the post to win that. And now Rojas can stretch his legs down the left. And look at Marquez in the middle. Look at the space. Marquez. 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 Off the bench to turn the game on its head. And I trust this young 18-year-old kid. Bakker, the top goal scorer in the Bundesliga, averaging over a goal a game with 14 in 11. But it wasn't his day today. Called on the Argentine youngster, and he has single-handedly turned this game around. Poor goal to concede from Werder Bremen, leaving him completely unmarked. But Marquez at the double has turned the game around, and Bayern Munich looks set for all 3 points. Well, I think that is going to do it here. And what a tactical change it was to bring on the Argentine Marquez up top, because that completely changed the game. Sembaka was tired, it wasn't coming off for him, and I called on the kid and he delivered once again. He is something special, man. And I said at the start of the season I wasn't sure if he was ready to yet lead our line, but he's proving that maybe he is. In limited game time, I think that is goals number 6 and 7 of the season, and certainly proving that he is worth our attention. Marquez off the bench completely turns the game, and Bayern Munich claim all 3 points from behind. Well, it's a good thing we did turn that game around, because RB Leipzig won again to make it 11 wins in 12 and keep themselves top of the Bundesliga. If we had dropped points there, we would have been in a pretty dangerous position. But our attention now turns to the DFB-Pokal, where RB Leipzig have already been knocked out. I would consider us serious favourites for this competition. But taking on a fellow Bundesliga side in VfL Wolfsburg, this will be by no means an easy progression to the quarterfinals. I'd still expect us to get there nonetheless. Auf geht's, die Rotten. Yeah, lots of changes as you will have seen, but still a strong lineup nonetheless. And Armando Sieb starting up top for us today, of course, against lower league opposition in Firth, but scored a hat-trick in the previous round. Also has a goal in the Bundesliga, so I make that 4 goals in just 2 appearances this season. So certainly giving me food for thought in those attacking areas, with Marquez and Armando both doing really well in limited game time. Yeah, expecting a much tougher game here, of course, than in the previous round against Firth, and I have made a lot of changes, but I'm hoping I've not underestimated our opponents here, because, of course, a very decent Bundesliga side, as that comes out to Pedro Neto. That's a good hit and turn away. But it's still a strong team, as Merlin finds Lima. Now Neto into Lima. Back to Pedro Neto. Brilliant move. And he puts it wide of the upright. Dyer does well to get a toe on the ball. And now Neto finds Can Uzun. Goes for it at the near post. And Jonas Erbig makes a pretty comfortable save. One you'd expect him to make. Corner swung in. Oh, and that's loose, and it wouldn't quite fall to Uzun in the middle. Well, pretty quiet opening 45 minutes here, and I'm sure Wolfsburg will be the happier of the two sides. They've managed to keep us quiet. Jonas Erbig has made a couple of decent saves in between the sticks, but nothing too taxing for him so far. And we'll be hoping to change that in the second 45 as Armando goes away down the left. Sieb just couldn't quite get away, and that's sort of been the story of this game so far. Wolfsburg defending well and frustrating our attackers. Trouble here. Wolfsburg come forward. Shot comes in. Oh, Marvin's been beaten by it, and he shouldn't have been from there. Maybe I'm being harsh on him, but Marvin Schwab, given his chance in the cup and beaten from range. Wolfsburg's game plan has played out perfectly here. It's a long way out. It's in the top corner, but I just don't feel that Marvin should be beaten from there. You can see the reaction on the sidelines. Not particularly happy, and we've got 20 minutes to save ourselves, or we will be out of the DFB-Pokal. Well, I think that's going to do it, guys. Just 1 minute of added time. And there is the whistle, and it's a home defeat in the last 16 of the DFB-Pokal. And this little mini blip is turning into something a bit more now. Just 1 victory in our last 4 games in all competitions. The Bayern Munich board will not be satisfied with that after asking us to win the competition. And I said going into this we were favourites as well. Picked a rotated side with big fixtures in the Bundesliga and Champions League to come, and we are knocked out to VfL Wolfsburg in the last 16. Well, let's find out who it would have been in the final 8. I would have fancied it whoever it is, and it's FSV Mainz. And, I mean, look at the teams left in the competition, man. We would have been clear favourites to go all the way. And that is completely my doing. We have completely and utterly bottled it in the last 16 of the DFB-Pokal. And the board are not going to be happy with that. It's been a poor run of form for Bayern Munich with, as I say, just 1 win in 4. And taking on Xabi Alonso's Bayer Leverkusen side next, they are looking to mount a charge for the title as well. If they win, they will go level on points with us. But RB Leipzig will be licking their lips. As they host VfB Stuttgart, they will be looking to move even further clear at the top of the Bundesliga. We've got some serious work cut out here, and nobody said it was going to be easy during the rebuild. Need to get back to winning ways in a big game at the Bayer Arena. Auf geht's, die Rotten. Well, here we are then at the Bayer Arena in the snow as well, which is going to make this even more difficult. I have to say though, I never changed the weather settings. Obviously, I've got the weather to have an impact on the game, but I never change whether it's clear, rainy, snowy. I just leave it as it is, as that is a flying tackle. Because yeah, you know, you can't change the weather in real life, so why should you be able to in the game? As Musiala, back-to-back Bundesliga Player of the Month winner, drills in the opening goal just 5 minutes in. We can't control the weather, but we can control our performance and our form as well. And this is exactly the sort of result that we need. In the form that we've been in, a win here against title rivals Leverkusen would be massive. And Musiala fires us into an early lead. Kovacevic forward to Sasha Boe. Down the line for Jamal Musiala, and Bakker's bursting into the middle. Can he get there? Send Bakker! Oh, it's a good chance. And he couldn't divert it towards goal. Well, we've kept Bayer Leverkusen quiet so far, and to be honest, the conditions are making it really hard for both teams to play. That early goal from the captain, Jamal Musiala, gives us the lead. But yeah, as I say, Leverkusen so far not threatened us at all. And that is a surprise with them knowing that they really need a win to try and keep pace with ourselves and Leipzig towards the top of the Bundesliga. Plenty to play here. Been a really tough game in these snowy conditions, and we've just held on to our lead that Jamal Musiala gave us early on in the game. Can we add to it here? Musiala to Sem, and no foul, says the referee by Jared Branthwaite. Just looking to grind this out with a narrow 1-0 victory. Former Bayern Munich man, and now Ali through the gap to Victor Boniface. That's a big save by Ronnie. Still it's loose as Adeyemi finds Wirtz and Garcia, and Ali strike parried away by Ronnie Schumacher. Big save by the big German to deny Victor Boniface. The corner swung into him and Ronnie claims, and that will probably be enough for Bayern Munich to see out all 3 points. A big stop from the big goalkeeper as we grind it out away at the Bayer Arena to pick up a big 3 points. And depending on the result in Leipzig, we may be returning back to the summit with that victory. Regardless though, it's a big one that moves us, I think, 6 points clear now of Bayer Leverkusen, and could see the race for the Bundesliga title cut to just 2 horses. Well, let's take a look at the table and see whether Leipzig won. They did win again, man. They just keep on going. What was the score? They won by 2-0. And they are absolutely flying at the top of the Bundesliga table. As I say, we now move 6 clear of Leverkusen, so still very early stages, but that is quite a big deficit to make up, and it looks as if it will be ourselves and RB Leipzig fighting for that title unless Leverkusen can come back from that 6-point deficit, which I certainly wouldn't rule them out of. But Anyway, back to matters in the Champions League. Match day 6 of the league phase, our only game in this competition in the month of December. And we're taking on a familiar opponent in Newcastle United. They were a bit of a bogey team during our time at Southampton, so we'll see if that continues here. They actually sit above us in the league phase with 4 wins and just 1 defeat in their 5 games. So we've got to make sure to pick up a positive result here to keep ourselves in the top 8. Auf geht's, die Rotten. Yep, here we go then against a familiar foe, of course. We know that they qualified for this competition last year with a 4th place finish in the Premier League last season when we went on to win it. And they were a bit of a rival of ours during our time in England with Southampton, so I'm expecting that to continue here. It's always nice when you've got like a big rivalry with a team and then you face them in a European competition, so expecting more of the same here. Inacio finds Bonzi and Luna's on down the line. Federico's got the pace to get away from Botman to the byline. Nobody to pick out. Went for goal himself. He had nobody to try and pick out there. Hey, Southampton leading against Juventus. I really want Southampton to get through and potentially us to face them in the knockouts, because that would be special, returning back to St Mary's. And here is Rojas. Lovely run by Rojas and a good save by the Frenchman Chevalier, who shovels it behind. Luna will let fly, and again the Frenchman is equal to it. Diawara lifts it for Yildiz, who gets it back to Diawara, and now Yildiz again, and Diawara, lovely build up. Alexander Isak, and that's a good save by Ronnie Schumacher. Now his turn to be called into action down the other end. Corner's floated in. Ronnie comes and gets a glove on it as he punches clear, but it's not fully away. And Kovacevic does complete the clearance. And now we've got a 2-on-1. Rojas, exactly the man you'd want it to be with the pace that he's got. Rojas finds Musiala, and from one end to the other, Bayern Munich on the counter take the lead against Newcastle. And what a brilliant move. Rojas with the pace down the right hand side. And he's composed enough to pick out Jamal Musiala, who scores, I think, his 12th goal of the season in all competitions. What a campaign he is having. Yildiz to Gutierrez and Miguel. Back to Kenan Yildiz. Boe, doesn't do enough. And Yildiz squeezes it in at the near post to draw his side level straight away after going a goal up. A lovely move down the left. Gutierrez plays it in field, and Boe tries to mark the cut inside, and instead just allows Yildiz to go at the near post. Ronnie can't get down to it in time, and Newcastle are level here in Germany. Kovacevic gets something on it, but Kubo gets it out wide again, and Isak, trouble here. Isak onto his left foot and turned away by Ronnie. This is a cracking game here at the Allianz, and both sides really going for it as Rojas is dispossessed by Gutierrez. And it's through to Yildiz again, and Isak, was he onside? Yes. And he finds Joel Linton, and his shot deflects behind for the corner. And Newcastle will just about have time to swing this in before the whistle. João Neves does float it in. Inacio does well. And that will do it for the first 45. And what a cracking 45 it's been. Both sides going all guns blazing for the win. Musiala gave us the lead, but Yildiz with the instant response means that we go into the break deadlocked at 1 apiece. Free kick for Newcastle. Kubo to swing it in. Bakker nods down. And now Luna finds Musiala. Back to Luna, and Rojas has it out wide. Rojas through to Jamal Musiala. And Musiala racing away and restoring our lead here in Germany. Jamal Musiala at the double once again. He is carrying his side at the moment, wearing the armband since I was appointed manager, and this is why. What a season he is having, and he puts us into the lead for the second time tonight here at the Allianz. Musiala through the gap to Bakker. This is his chance. Bakker, it's 3. And that might be enough. Sem's back on the score sheet. And straight from kickoff once again in this game. It's not an equaliser for Newcastle, but potentially the dagger for Bayern Munich. Well, that should just about do it here at the Allianz, and the third goal completely killed off the game. Sem Bakker back on the score sheet, and a brace from Jamal Musiala means that we pick up a big 3 points in the Champions League. I don't think that will quite guarantee qualification in the top 8, but if it wasn't already secured, progression through in the top 24 is certainly secured with that win. So let's go and take a quick look at how the league table looks. Well, as we get back to the menus, we see Eric Dyer handing in a transfer request. Not really too fussed about this. He's still on the important squad role, and he obviously never really gets a look in. So I don't mind that. His deal's up at the end of the season. I will keep him until the end of his contract and let him walk on a free at the end of the campaign, which was my plan anyway. But let's take a look at the Champions League table as we now move up to 4th place. Still not guaranteed to finish in the top 8 as it's very, very tight and congested. But I do want to see with that win for Southampton, they are in the top 24. I want to make sure they at least go into the round of 32 sort of playoff round, because I would love to face them at some point, as I stated. And beating Juventus, that's a good result for them on Connor Cox's return to St Mary's. But anyway, jumping into our next game, taking on Hamburg once again at home at the Allianz. They're struggling down towards the bottom of the table, and with RB Leipzig taking on Dortmund after we play, so they play on the Sunday. If Dortmund can get a result there, preferably a win, then we could see the start of the RB Leipzig dip in form, because we know how overpowered form is. And with us now with 2 back-to-back big victories, hopefully we can kickstart our season again. So taking on Hamburg at the Allianz, looking for 3 points to put the pressure on RB Leipzig. Auf geht's, die Rotten. Bonzi wins the header. And now Luna forward to Musiala. Look at the space for Sem Bakker, who absolutely rifles it home this time. First time from Sem, and he's back on the score sheet in the Bundesliga. Notched up in midweek against Newcastle in the Champions League. But going for that golden boot domestically, he's back on the score sheet. Yeah, there's a few games since Sem Bakker last notched up in the Bundesliga. I think 3 or 4 games, but he's at Bakker on the score sheet now, and he doubles up as well. I need to stop with these puns, man. It's a good thing Merlin's not had much game time today, because the old magic puns would be out again. But Sem Bakker on the score sheet, and he's back with a brace as well. Quick throw in, Boe to Elise, and this is what I mean about having no proper wing backs and just wide centre backs. It is so easy to play through, and Sem should have had his hat-trick had it not been for a fantastic save. Kovacevic keeps that alive, and Dusan gets it back. His shot is blocked. Oh, lovely ball through, Elise into Musiala. Oh my goodness, it's just wide. Maybe had time to bring it down and finish it, but that is so unlucky from Jamal Musiala. Well, there is the whistle in Munich, and it's a pretty comfortable 2-0 victory for Bayern. And the 2 goals from Sem Bakker in the first half really killed the game off. We had a few chances to get in the hat-trick. Jamal Musiala also went close in the second half with that audacious overhead kick. But it was more of a defensive display once again from Bayern. Another clean sheet for the boys at the back and Ronnie Schumacher. And we put the pressure on RB Leipzig, and we will go top for at least 24 hours. Well, let's find out how RB Leipzig got on, as the team of the week is absolutely caked in Bayern Munich players. So hopefully that means that RB Leipzig did not win. And no, they did not. They lost to Borussia Dortmund. So we now go top with both teams having played 14. Their first loss of the campaign comes at the Signal Iduna Park, and that long unbeaten run is finally over for RB Leipzig. And oh my goodness, they've lost again. Form is such a ridiculous thing in this year's game, man. Unbeaten in 13, and then they've lost back-to-back. 2 difficult games against Dortmund and Frankfurt, but back-to-back losses for RB Leipzig. So, do you know what? We'll actually close out the episode here, partly because my throat is absolutely dying, and partly because I want to save January and the transfer window for the next episode. So, a win here will see us move over the 40-point mark, and we could move 4 points clear of RB Leipzig at the top of the Bundesliga. Big clash as we take on Borussia Mönchengladbach. Auf geht's, die Rotten. Yeah, always a really interesting game when Bayern travel to Borussia Park. I'm not 100% sure on the record, but I know that Mönchengladbach have a really good head-to-head record with Bayern Munich, so I'm hoping that's not going to be the case here, and we can get the better of them in the rain or at Borussia Park, sorry. But I wouldn't be too surprised if, you know, the conditions always play a part, if this is the game that we slip up in as Ronnie's forced into an early save. Kovacevic into Rashford, who gets the start today. Now Fonzie, who finds Marcus, and Rashford going on. Marcus Rashford finds Elise. It's a lovely move, and Marcus Rashford finally in on the act for Bayern Munich. Been waiting for him to have his real big moment, and well, that's a big goal, because we know that a win here will send us 4 points clear at the top of the Bundesliga. Michael Elise slots it home for, I think, goal number 5 or 6 in the Bundesliga this season. There it is, 5 in 15, averaging 1 in every 3, and Bayern Munich lead at Borussia Park. Inacio finds Kovacevic. And Dusan going on and forcing the save out of the keeper, who I think saw it late. Well, we're into the second half here. It's not been the greatest of games, and Matteo had to get there on the slide or he was in trouble. I've really struggled to play any sort of free-flowing football in the rain, as Musiala looks for Sem but puts too much on it. And yeah, I don't mind if we have to grind out a narrow 1-0 victory again. As long as we get the 3 points on the board, we will be heading 4 points clear at the top. Oh, Maya doesn't get there. Denki brings it away, and Denki finds Cordero. Strike comes in, and it took a nick, and Ronnie had to get down and make the save, but it's a good glove that he got on it, the German. And now we'll look to come the other way. Fonzie. Forward for Musiala. And there's Bakker. Looks to return it to Musiala. And Bakker gets the strike away. And both teams looking for the second goal here. With 20 to play, if there is to be a goal, it could have big ramifications. Musiala down the right. Skips away from his man. Musiala to Bakker, onto his weaker right foot, but it doesn't matter. And Sem Bakker drills in the second, and we will be heading 4 clear at the top of the Bundesliga. That was like time just stood still there with the fake shot stop, but then the fake shot onto the right foot, and he drills it in at the near post for our second. And that should be the points in the bag, and Bayern Munich heading 4 clear at the top. And Bayern Munich will be heading 4 clear at the top, as there is the whistle at Borussia Park, a ground that Bayern have historically struggled at over recent seasons. But under my management, we come here and pick up the 4 points, and we are looking in a much better position at the end of today's episode than we did at the start. 4 points clear at the top. We look set to progress in the Champions League, although we did have that disappointing knockout in the DFB-Pokal. But that will do it for today's video, guys. I hope you have enjoyed. We'll be back in the next one to play through the January transfer window and ensure the squad is set for the remainder of the campaign. same. I hope you have enjoyed. Take care, guys, and peace.